Okay, in the absence of President Zellner, I'll call the meeting to order. I would look for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that trustee Sam Ballwig chair the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let me just go back and take the roll call here. Joe Zitzelsberger,
Here.
Sam Ballwig.
Here.
Sue Springman, Bill Ranum.
Here.
Chris Zellner, Phil Willems.
Here.
Aaron Moran.
Here.
Okay.
All right. It's my first time in the leadership chair, so let's see. We got the roll call done. You're going to go through confirmation of open meeting compliance.
Yep, I can confirm that the public postings were done, official notice and online availability all were done as required.
Right. Consent agenda. Anything need to be pulled from the consent agenda this week? All right. Seeing none, all in favor? Or what? We need a motion. Sorry.
Motion.
I'm jumping right through it.
I'll second her motion.
There you go. It's done. You did it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Public comments.
I have two, Ann Lewandowski.
Sure. Good morning, Ann Lewandowski. I guess it's evening now, sorry. Ann Lewandowski, 103 West 3rd Street. I've been doing a little bit of catching up, as you guys, I'm sure, have caught on. And so I read the 2003 Central Business District Plan, as well as the 2009 Economic Development Plan. And for the 2003 Central Business District Plan, something stood out to me as my mission. And it wasn't some of the people sitting around this room, which might also be an omission, but really there was no mention of Amazon in that document. And I guess for me, I wonder if that's an appropriate omission for planning purposes. And I can't answer that for you guys, but I would hope that you would consider it in future. And for the 2009 Economic Development Plan, that was a very different time economically. And I guess, again, I just wonder if it's appropriate to use a document that is appropriate for that era in 2018. Thank you.
Okay. And I have Mary Heimbecker.
Mary Heimbecker, 306 West 3rd Street. I'm just curious if there's any progress on creating a Waunakee Historical Preservation Committee. Chris had mentioned that they might look into it at the public listening session he had. He's not here tonight, but if there's any movement on that, we'd like to know. There's several people besides myself who are interested in being on that committee. That's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, on to licenses and permits. And one, discuss and take action on renewal of alcohol beverage license application for 6 Mile Creek.
So the reason this one is here before you this week and not with the rest, seems that they can't consistently keep an agent, which is required with an LLC. So they've made some changes in the structure to appoint a person who's more regularly employed by the organization. So we shouldn't run into those problems anymore. Anytime you have an LLC that is applying for a liquor license application, they must name an agent who is the person who's responsible for the day-to-day activities, the money, the scheduling, that kind of thing. And that has now been done. Police Department have reviewed the application as well as staff, and we recommend approval.
Move approval of the alcohol beverage license application for 6 Mile Creek Golf Development.
And I would second that and say I've known Steve from his presence out there for about 20 years, and he is the one consistent thing, although he does share his duties with their other courses, et cetera.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second item is discuss and take action on annual operator license applications.
So as we discussed at the last meeting, the licensing period is July 1 to June 30. We did not have all of the renewal applications and some of the new ones as we came to the board meeting last time. So this is the remainder of the applications that will be approved going forward for July 1st. Staff has reviewed them as police department. We recommend approval subject to successful completion of an approved beverage server training course.
Move approval of operator license applications.
Second.
By Aaron. Any further discussion on that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried again. New business tonight is to discuss and take action on interim market updates.
Okay, so this relates to our assessment activity. Maybe I mentioned before, maybe not. When we got our equalized values from the state, this year we discovered that last year we were already out of compliance. We didn't know last year. So that makes us, this is our second year out of compliance in a major classification. The classification is our residential classification. We were at 89 point something percent. You have to be at 90% to be in compliance. So being the second year out of compliance, we have 2 more years to get into compliance, or the state will come in, do the revaluation, and charge us for it. Associated Appraisal is the firm that's been doing our work for us since 2011. At that time, they took all of our paper records, which consumed file cabinets full of paper and pictures. They took all of our records and made them electronic. 2012, they did a village-wide revaluation. So if you were to look at your record now, you would see a scaled drawing, pictures, annotations of the elements of your property that are essential to assessing the property. So we have good records. What we have is a really fast-moving economy. Houses are selling. We're building a lot of new houses. That's rapidly taking us out of compliance. So with records that are less than 5 years since a revaluation and good records, we can do an interim market update per DOR. It's a good economical way for us to get back into compliance, get back to 100%. It's $104,000 to do the interim market update. The last time we did a revaluation, it was $189,000. So in 6 years' time, this is a good move for the village to be able to get us back to compliance based on the fact that we have good data. They'll also guarantee that for one more time in the next 5-year period if we find that we need to, if we're moving that fast yet and we need to do another update. It also includes maintenance work, so the revaluation or the interim market update would be done next year. That would include the maintenance as well, so that's the review of all new houses, new construction, any building permits, and sales. And they use that information to build a model to come up with the assessment for other properties in those areas. So it's a good way for us to get back where we need to be. They'll do the maintenance in addition to the interim market update. The next 4 years, they'll do just the maintenance. That cost is $36,000 a year. So if you're trying to do the math, the unknown element is how much are we paying now? About $30,000 a year for maintenance. And that's adding, somewhere around 100 new houses a year, 400 building permits, and the volume of sales is incredible. So all of those sales too they're looking at. Economically, it's a good thing for us. We budget annually $25,000 to build that fund up so that when we're ready for a revaluation.
In addition to our annual maintenance. costs.
Yeah. Yes, right, in addition. So as I mentioned on our cover sheet, we have $167,000 available, $104,000 would accomplish the interim market update. Leaves us with roughly $50,000. If we have to do another one in the next 5 years, that fund will be built back up again. So my recommendation is that this is a good thing, and the village should move ahead with approving this contract, and they'll get started right away getting the prep work ready, so on 1/1 they're ready to move forward with the update.
I would make a motion, we approve the proposal from Associated Appraisal for an interim market update in 2019 and to continue maintenance assessment services for 2019 through 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. That leaves us with old business. Discuss and take action on notice of claim filed by Folk Construction LLC against Village of Waunakee related to demolition and disposal services performed at 201 South Madison Street. The village board may convene in closed session as authorized by Wisconsin statute 19.851G for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governing body who is rendering oral advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the village with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved in. The village board may reconvene in open session and discuss and take action on the subject matter discussed in closed session. So is there anything for the open meeting?
Closed session.
Go right into closed session? And I have to read this whole thing?
You did it.
I did it,
Just
I
did
thought.
it. We
You
just
did it, you did real good.
Oh, he takes a lot longer when he reads it.
And complains a lot more. He complains a
All
lot
right,
more.
so I have a motion to go into closed session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill.
Okay. Joe Zitzelsberger?
Yes.
Sam Bowie?
Yes.
Bill Ranum?
Yes.
Chris Elner's absent. Sue Springman is absent. Phil Willems?
Yes.
And Erin Moran?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank